This reading is for women who are intuitively guided to this video and this reading. I need to share that I've been on a spiritual journey, a spiritual path, and having my physical existence and experience at the same time. And now I'm meant to combine the two worlds and share from a spiritual perspective a message of healing, of strength for all women who are intuitively guided to this. Now it's now I have to share the spiritual journey has put me in touch with psychic and mediumistic ability and gift that I've had, and I need to just share that part of it with you. And to the left side of that, the feminist text, the feminist movement, the Metoo movement, all of these other physical plane happenings that I'm also aware of and a part of. Now, we're all connected, man, woman. And we're on a journey together. And the shift that's happening is painful for both sides. And I have to say both sides still. Okay, when there's only one side, okay, and that's humanity. But because of gender, there's one side of the entire world called women who are still subordinate to one side of the entire world called men. And now I have to say that I don't want to deal in dualities, but we have to deal with the reality of the physical plane, okay? So this is true on the physical plane, and there are men who see this for what it is and are asking questions about how can we change. And that in and of itself is progress. But I've been hearing and I've been seeing and I've been feeling that the men asking these questions aren't really asking the female group. And the truth is, there's more answers over here. There's more answers in truth, and when there's truth, there's fairness, there's love. And there's no issue with turning towards the truth. And if there is a group of the population, half of the world's population, and a group within them, okay, because it's a small group of women who have the words, I feel like, to articulate the answers, but we're here. We do have the language around it. We have been educating ourselves. This hasn't been going on since last November. This has been going on since 10,000 years of subordination, okay? And women have been educating themselves on their own existence. There's a group of women here, and it's weird because I want to say 20%. It's like we're all connected, but not all women have all of the information and all of their history and all of the articulate and are able to articulate. A lot of women are also waking up with the men over here. Okay, they're waking up at the same time. And that's good. It doesn't mean that they have the language to support the movements as much as some women, okay? We all have our place in the movement and our place in the world. You know, every single one of us is here on purpose. And we have to deal with every single one of our truths. And the ones I want to focus on are those like 20% with the wisdom, who can articulate this shift and what needs to happen in right now. And because I hear a lot of I don't knows, and I really hear a lot of the male's perspective, like it's, as usual, it's a lot of lashback, that's funny. And it is this backwards movement, okay? It's a lot of resistance from moving forward over here, and a lot of I don't know, okay? And on the other hand, there's a lot of women who don't have a platform as big as now let me just make it clear that I'm talking about men in comedy right now, and I'm talking about the men writing these articles. The women who know, they just don't have the same platform, okay? But we're here, okay? And I want to say that energetically, we're communicating through energy, as simple as the internet, as that connects us. But there's also another energy that's happening here that I just want to say, in case these women are feeling alone right now, that we are sending actual literal signals to each other. That is, it's happening through your dreams. It's also happening, there's a softening around each other, where there might have been more of a competition happening. There's more of an acceptance as a teammate now. That is coming from the intention of prayer and light work. When these powerful women are sending that out, we're all picking that up, okay, in our own way. Yeah, so I think I can kind of start the reading now. And I'm just going to, that this isn't a psychic and an intuitive reading about with the intention on basically healing and empowerment for anyone who's feeling thrown off kilter by sex offenders showing back up at work, okay? And that includes men. I mean, so any men intuitively guided to stick here, okay, in this reading. This is for you too, okay? And just keep your eyes, ears, feeling, everything open. Okay, so we start off with the Knight of Wands, okay, and this, it's beginning, with that kind of destructive energy of the patriarchy, and I just want to tell the women here that it's like dealing, and I don't mean to, I'm just going to tell what I'm feeling. It's like dealing with a teenager, okay? And I think that would make a lot of sense to you out there. It's dealing with a teenager, okay? Because this is the energy where the resistance to change is coming from. It's coming from a very teenage mentality on one side of the issue. And what we're talking about here is misogyny, and the misogyny, okay, and I don't mean to take it down how powerful hate is, okay, and misogyny is. I don't mean to make it smaller than it is. However, I have to tell the women who are seeking, who are listening to this, that it's a teenager, okay? It's a teenager. So remember, when engaging, that's kind of the energy that we're engaging with. And not to give it any more than that. This isn't a scholar, this isn't a wise man, this isn't a sage energy. This is a teenager, young male energy at the core, okay? And teenagers are very afraid, okay? They don't know what they're talking about a lot of the time, and they're growing. Okay, it's going to require work. Obviously, we put the work in every day. We're doing yoga. We're prayerful. We're trying to get ourselves in better shape, even physically, because that's a portal to my spiritual body. This is just basically, I feel like the cards are a good visual for us, even though I haven't been, I don't feel I need the cards to get the message across, but I feel like there's a lot of people that are going to respond more visually to the cards. So that's why we're doing these. The hard work, okay? I just feel like basically the cards are here to tell you, okay, this is what we're talking about. So they're just kind of saying like, okay, we know that this is the energy that we're talking about. Just trying to establish that I see you, you see me, we know what we're talking about, the hard work. And then we have 2 8s already, so it's like 2 infinite numbers. Like 8 is the infinity sign, and it's the sign of inner strength. And we know that that's at the core of that for women, that we have to like really dig into our inner strength to kind of navigate what's going on in the world now. And then there's fast activity, like literal 8 of Wands is like things are happening, moving very quickly. Okay, so because of that, okay, so because of that, here we're getting into more of the message, and it's the priestess, the high priestess, and she's the two. Okay, so it is the balance in the duality. It's I am here, and I have one eye on the spiritual and one eye on the physical, and I know the secret. And what is that secret? That's up to each individual woman to determine. But in the face of this, in the face of misogyny, I'm the high priestess. This is just the basic energy of what's going on. As it goes with feminism, women simply want to be looked at as human beings. So to say we are the high priestess, it almost gives us a more elevated position. But in fact, both are true. Both are true. That if you have been doing work spiritually, because our lack of language around spiritual, that we can only talk in hierarchies, you are more elevated. Okay, you are more. You're more the one. Okay, to give the message, to create healing for others. You're more the one who can sit in the middle and say, I see your side, I see your side, and I have the answer. This is about the death of this energy, okay, like the death of, I just want to make that very clear, like what's happening with men coming back to work effortlessly after they've been accused and admitted to sex offense, and the fact that they're serial sexual predators, okay, which is at the core hate crimes against women. It's over for them, okay? This is a part of nature, the truth outs, okay, and dreams and things and people die, and there is an end, okay? So I just want to say to anyone who's feeling like, when is this ever going to end, or how could this be? I mean, there is an end. I just know that there's a resistance to the change, and I think that's what we're dealing with now. And it is destiny, okay? We have the Wheel of Fortune. This is destiny. This is about what is meant to be, will be, okay? And part of that is, we have the 10 of Swords, and then we have the 10, which is Wheel of Fortune. And it is completion of an energy, essentially. So, energy being this hasty Knight of Wands, okay? It is someone who holds a torch, literally. Then we have the King of Swords. It's like the one who's all-knowing, the intellectual. And I'm just going to see. What the message is here, because the intellect isn't really the answer in this case. Yeah. Because I think what women are coming up against are the elites of academia, the elites of entertainment world, the elites of publishing, the elites of it all. And we're realizing that at the top there's a deep-rooted misogyny, if we hadn't already realized that. And that essentially their elitism and their industry and their knowledge is basically in the balance here. It's basically, there's a juggling kind of energy to them right now. To me, it's falling apart. And destruction is part of the universe, and for me, it is crumbling, but it might not be fast enough for some people. To that, I say we just have to deal with the level of acceptance that we are not in control and we don't have all knowing. Okay, so the fact that things are taking longer than some of us would like to see, we just need to stay humble. We need to stay humble. And then we have the moon energy, which is there's a small light on in the dark, essentially. And the path is unsure, it's unknown. The path ahead is unknown. That, when I'm speaking, I'm really speaking to the woman's path. I'm speaking to the woman's movement. I'm speaking to feminism, female liberation. What does liberation mean? Okay, because it doesn't mean the opposite. It's not the inverse of what, it's not replacing us with men. This system that has been created without us in mind is not the system that we want, okay? Because in the end, what we can say has really happened is that we were included into the male's structure, which is capitalism, and what happens there is the subordinate becomes a worker, a robot within that system, and must adapt to the system. She doesn't change the system. She adapts male principles, and within that system. There are males who don't adapt those principles and fight against this system. So I don't want to put everyone into two boxes, but I want to say that the patriarchal principle, that not all men, but the ones who are in charge men, okay? So those systems, and we're watching each institution kind of fall down, like academia, entertainment, and we're watching it kind of fall down. Okay, so I just want to say that here we have, like, in this column, we really have kind of the male's experience a little bit more, and then when we go into the next, we have the female's experience. And there's a refusal here to deal with the pain and the abuse on the male part, okay, and the torment. And this is the abuse that they inflict, but also the abuse that they've experienced, because many of the abusers were abused. It doesn't give that man the right to abuse others. When he denies his own having been abused and doesn't deal with it in a healthy way as an adult, this creates pain for the rest of us, and he really needs to face his demons. Until he does that, we're kind of in limbo here. So, men do have a responsibility. This isn't just about, like, what are women banding together and women whatever. I just want to focus on women in this reading, because I feel that we're on another wavelength. We're on a wavelength of spirituality that we bring into this. The ones who are intuitively guided to this message, I know that you're spiritual beings having a physical experience. That's where we're at. So we have to deal from the corner we're at. And then there's judgment. I mean, this is like, there's there's judgment coming, okay? Nobody can tell you if it's ever going to be on the physical plane, but this is the way that it works, okay? You really don't harm someone else in such a way that a sex offender does and ever get away with it truly. And what we're really fighting for is bringing justice to the physical plane. But that's something that we cannot hold as the end game for our lifetime, because we don't really know what's going on the larger scale if we're going to get there in this lifetime. So we have to conserve our energy and have the faith that we know judgment is coming. If you're having a hard time with faith about judgment, simply rely on those who have faith. Turn towards people who are optimistic about this. Listen to people who believe in karma, believe in what goes around comes around, believe in truth will out, believe in God, essentially. Those are people who will give you relief in the physical plane if you're having a hard time with your own belief systems, okay? They're people to just be around, okay? You don't even have to talk about the physical issue. But when you're around that person, energy is so strong that you feel lighter, because when you have belief that there is justice, there is such a thing as justice, you might not experience on the physical, you will feel lighter, and it's easier to get through the days here. And then we have strength. So basically, at the bottom of, these columns, where we have like a quick activity and the destiny, and then like the diving into the unknown for women, at the core of it, you really have the strength card, which is like the interior strength. The strength that helps us, has always helped us survive, no matter what generation we're living through. Okay, so this is just another example, a new example of the same old story. How do we survive? How do we go on and we keep having kids and we keep creating and we keep having careers and making great art and having great laughs? It's inner strength. It's inner strength and knowing. Okay, so that means we have 3 8s in the reading, and I just feel like it's a message that is archetypal, that this has been going on since time infinity, that we're having a female experience for a reason, and it's to push us along. Then we have the Queen of Swords. This woman is the one who articulates it all. She's able to live through this pain. She's able to live through every experience that she's had living her life in a patriarchal system where her mother, her grandmother, her great-grandmother, her great-great-grandmother, and all women that she comes from has had to live through. She's able to articulate it. She's able to make art about it. She's able to talk to you about basically anything. It's like, in the end, who becomes the most wise person? It's the one who suffered the most. And in the end, women are coming out wiser, stronger, more together, and more able to articulate their pain, which I really think is something really special about what's going on in 2018. So, I'm gonna pull a few Mother Peace cards to just get any advice for anyone's kind of struggling. I don't know. Because I feel like this kind of maps out the macro of what's going on. Oh, okay, so we do have two. So, okay, so I've been pulling this a lot, and it's the Three of Wands, which is a very strong, fiery, creative energy. Also related to the Empress card, the creator, the mother card. There's something very fast moving about all of this. Like, we had the activity one, but there's something very quick. Like, the cheetah is the thing that's really popping in this card. There's a fire erupting, and it's very powerful. And what it is women literally looking out onto their accomplishments and saying, look at all we've done. Look at all we've done with the circumstances. I'm really proud of myself, and I'm proud of all of you, because like, we're standing on the shoulders of the giants before us. We're standing on the shoulders of women who had the audacity to dream of being treated like a human being. And we're closer than we were before. We really are, even though it feels like we're not, of course. Then we have like this kind of stagnated, it's kind of going off to my left. Two of Wands, where it's like two women cooperating, but what is it? It's really a woman who has an idea about creating a fire, okay? But I'm afraid to do it. I'm afraid to say the truth. I'm afraid to go up to the guy in charge and say, what you're doing here is wrong. I know it's wrong, but I'm afraid. Why am I afraid? Well, of course, money, social status. I can't be part of his club anymore. There is something like you never were part of the club. You never can be. And in the end here, I just want to tell you, like, it's easier said than done, but speak up, because the only person that you're hurting is yourself and others. When you see injustice and you don't say anything about it, that's something you have to answer for yourself, okay? So you have to take responsibility too. That being said, I am not talking to women who have been assaulted and feel that their safety is further jeopardized by speaking up, okay? Every woman has to do, honestly, what she feels in her heart is right. I'm saying, if you see injustice done at your workplace to someone else, and you don't take any steps to help the person, and that's kind of eating at you, speak up, okay? You know when you're in danger and it's really not appropriate to speak up because you can't. That's not who I'm talking to. I'm talking to people who know that they can, but they're afraid, and they're just worried about how this is going to look. Not afraid for their safety, but more afraid for their social standing with the boss. And in the end, we have the Four of Wands, which is like, there is going to be a minor celebration going on here. So anybody who's kind of like worried about these guys coming back, it's like, not so fast, really. It's not. You know. So, and then we have the Nine of Disc reverse, which is just think it's more about the timing of things. There will be more of a waiting period. See, it's the woman who's in her element, who's creating in her element. It's like true prosperity in the sense of I have everything I need and I'm safe, and it's an introspective feeling. And then we have the Son of Wands reversed. So again, it is that same energy as the Knight of Swords kind of thing.